Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day for Thursday, October the 12th, race number 7 at beautiful Belmont Park. Let's take a look at this field of optional claimers getting ready to travel a one-turn mile over Big Sandy. Head on over to the Race of the Day event page on DRF.com, download your free Formulator past performances, and handicap along with us as we take this field in post-position order. Mike Beer, the number 1, is Economic Model, 3-1. It's a Rad Ortiz, it's Chad Brown. It's a horse on a long losing streak.
Yeah, he hasn't come back so great as a 4-year-old so far. Of course, it's only been 3 starts, so it just sort of feels like, maybe he's one of those 4-year-olds. Chad's having a really tough time getting this horse going because he was pretty good at 3. You would have expected him to improve a little bit this year. It hasn't happened so far. He's one of those horses, I think if you wanted to make excuses for him, you could. His last race, he stumbled pretty bad at the start. He was on the outside when the winner came up the inside. Maybe those things worked against him. I wanted to see him do a little more running last time. We'll see what happens. I really don't want him if he's going to be a short price in this race, but we'll see how they wind up betting it.
You're right in that you can make excuses. First start of the year, 97 buyer. He's off the layoff. Call it a short horse in a race that was controlled up front by the winner, Dolphus. Matt Mile, you're not going to hold that race against him. One of the major performances of the season by both the first 2 finishers, More Spirit and Sharpest Tekka, respectively. You mentioned the start last time out in a race that produced 3-5 India, who came back to win with a 98 buyer. I think it was a close 4th the other day. In a stakes race, the Phoenix at Keeneland. But you're right, I need to see some more running.
Yeah, it just feels like things aren't going great for him right now. Maybe it's time for him to finally turn it around here as a 4-year-old and take a step forward. If he takes a step forward, he could easily win.
Number 2 is Clever Royal, making his first start in New York, his first start off the claim from Robertino Diodoro, who we know does very, very well off the claim. But here's a positive formulator fact as well. Past 2 years with older dirt runners removing blinkers, 50%, a $5.48 ROI. Clever Royal really didn't threaten most recently at Del Mar, but that's been a fairly live race in that the 4th horse American Pastime came back to win a 2X in Southern California with a 96, and then ran second in the Grade 3 Gallant Bob at Parks with a 105 buyer speed figure. Clever Royal, from a buyer speed figure standpoint, from a class standpoint, has some work to do perhaps.
Yeah, maybe he does. We'll see if Diodoro can get him to, maybe take a little bit of a step forward off the claim. He's really good off the claim, as you mentioned. I just sort of look at him and feel like he has been facing some good horses out there, and he's been running pretty well against them. It just felt to me like, even if he shows up here off the claim and runs his best race, if, 1 or 2 of these other horses run their best race, they're probably going to beat him.
He's going to be a price. He's 12-1 on the morning line. He was good enough without blinkers last year to only be beaten 3 lengths by Lord Nelson in the Grade 1 Triple Bend. The last race, key race, time before that in against Dan's and Candy. Time before that in against Collected. You're right. He's been in against some solid horses. He's got a little tactical speed.
He does have all those things, and he's not the worst horse in the world to take a price on. Do you think, I know that he's won going longer before. Do you think he's a little bit better sprinting?
It appears 6.5 furlongs is right up his wheelhouse. We'll see if the 1-turn mile, though, maybe helps him out a little bit. Touch of Star Quality on his best day may be the best horse in this race. He has run 4 triple-digit buyer speed figures since May 21st of 2016. Last time out in the stake dinner, he ran into a very promising horse in C. Merdini, and I just don't think he handled that wet track.
Yeah, this horse doesn't really like a wet track. I mean, none of his races on wet tracks are particularly good. Even though you see the overall record, he's got a couple of seconds.
He's been beating a country mile.
Just way out of it, not even close. He's not good on a wet track. And he has that, the only race really, the races in that long good streak you're talking about back to the beginning of last year that aren't great are when they tried to sprint him in the Bold Ruler. He is not a sprinter. And when they went 2 turns with him at Saratoga, he ran fine that day, but that's really a little too far from him. This is what he likes. Belmont Park, 1-turn routing. His last 4 races, 100, 104, 103, as long as it's a fast track. He's just going to be really tough to beat in here. He projects for a good trip. And to me anyway, the real key to this horse is you got to keep him fresh. He is at his absolute best when he has layoffs in his running lines. He wants a little time between races, and he's got that here.
Let's look at the Timeform US pace projector for this race, because we know that the number 3, Touch of Star Quality, can win on the lead, can win from just off. We have him just off the 6, Ocean Night, and if you're a fan of Touch of Star Quality, that's the spot to be at.
That's a pretty good spot track in Ocean Night if you can get it.
Big Daddy, the number 4, is the X factor in this race. This is a Chilean bred making his first start in North America, his first start with Lasix, his first start with Todd Pletcher. His last 2 races have been on turf. I'm not going to hold that against him. He's bringing an 8 for 10 lifetime record on dirt to this party. He is also bringing a little bit of a layoff with him, but he showed some quality over there.
Yeah, he did. I mean, it's always hard to tell exactly what they're beating over there, but they ran him in all the bigger races, and he was good in those races. I mean, as you point out, 8 for 10 on dirt, just nothing but really good efforts. I know it's a little bit of a layoff here, but Pletcher's great with dirt routers off of layoff. So if he has his horse ready to go, maybe he'll fit really well in this field. It's hard because you don't know what they're running against. I'm a little interested in him here, though.
I'm a little interested in him as well. I'd have to use him in any sort of multiple race wager. He's my second pick in the race. The 5 is Red Rifle, a former Todd Pletcher trainee who was claimed for $100,000 by David Jacobson out of a runner-up effort in a turf race last time out. Now, the last time this horse ran on dirt, all he did was run a 97 Beyer behind Rally Cry, who came back to run second in the Woodward with a 99 Beyer speed figure. So at the age of 7, it appears that Red Rifle can still step. He easily can win this race, this millionaire.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like he needs a little bit of a flashback to win. I mean, I know that, based on his figures, I guess he's right there competitive with these horses, but it's been a long time since he's actually won, and I don't really feel like he's in the best form of his life here. Maybe Jacobson gets him to turn around.
It's a mile too short for him.
Maybe. He has been a little bit better going longer, especially recently, but I don't know. I don't mind them doing something different with him here because I don't really like the races he's been running going longer.
Last time Ocean Knight, the 6-1, was at a mile, but it was a 2-turn mile at Aqueduct in a race where it couldn't have just set up any better for him at all, where he went 25 and 49 and 3 and was still life and death to hold off the salty old veteran Prey Torreo. Since then, hasn't been so great for Ocean Knight, although he was in against a very good sprinter, Imperial Hint and the General George. He was in the Carter 2 starts back, and last time out in the state dinner, he was in that Seymour Deeney hard study race where maybe the wet track didn't work to his advantage either. There are ways where you can make a case, especially switching back to Javier and looking at that Timeform US pace projector where if Touch of Star Quality doesn't fire, this horse might sneak away.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's got a little ability too. It's not like he's like some kind of bum. He just never really turned out to be that great after a pretty good start to his career. I like the 1-turn mile for him too. I think this is probably a good distance for him. We'll see what we get. I don't love him. Maybe he gets loose on the lead. He makes himself tough.
I like how Todd Pletcher's handled the 7 Vulcan's Forge. I think he realizes that he's not ready for the big boys right now. He ran him in a 1X last fall at Belmont Park. He won. They tried the Discovery. No good. They tried turf off the layoff. No good. They got him back to this level where he belongs last time out. He won it by 3. Here's the Pletcher formulator fact for Vulcan's Forge. Past 4 years, older, last out winning dirt routers going 3rd off the lap, and optional claimers, Mike.
All right.
That's how specific you can get it formulated.
Yeah, not bad.
44%, 283 ROI. This horse needs a little more pace, though, right?
He needs some pace. I like him a lot more as a dirt horse, though, than as a turf horse. It seems to me, anyway, when you watch him run on dirt, and I know he came from last to win last time, but he was never that far away from the pace. When he's on turf, sometimes he just gets totally outrun in those races. On dirt, he tends to keep himself a little bit closer. I like that. His last couple of dirt races, forget about the graded stakes race, are pretty good. That's a longer price. I can see throwing him in somewhere.
One of those horses he beat last time out came back to score with a 99 Beyer. The 8's backside of the moon for Leo O'Brien. You needed this horse last time out. It looked like he was home free turning into the stretch. I still don't know how he was unable to fend off Securities late. He is a solid horse that is capable of running Beyers in the low to mid 90s. And again, if Touch of Star Quality doesn't show up, a Beyer in the low to mid 90s is going to make him a contender at a big price. I just can't take him off that last race. He should have won it.
I can't go back to him either in this race. But you're right, he's far from impossible in here. I can't go back to him off that last one. I think he's facing tougher horses here. He's okay, though, that horse.
Pick time for the Thursday formulator race of the day. You like Touch of Star Quality. On paper, he's the fastest horse. He projects for a good trip. He's 5-2 on the morning line.
Yeah, I will say, will I take him at 5-2? I'm certainly going to use him in multi-race wagers. I don't think I'd be betting him to win at 5-2, but I think he is the horse.
I'm hoping Diodoro saw something when he claimed the source off Kristen Mulhall, because immediately the blinkers go off, and that's been a very good move for Diodoro in the past. Plus, Clever Oil has taken on some real hard hitters in Southern California. He seems to fit well at this level, and he's going to be a price 2, 4, 5, 7 for me in race number 7 at Belmont Park on Thursday. If you are playing the Thursday Belmont card from home, please sign up to DRF Bets. When you do, you'll be rewarded with a $300 bonus. And all you have to do to access that bonus is go to drf.com/fall and use the promo code FALL300. Approximate post time for race 7 at Belmont on Thursday, 4:13 Eastern. Best of luck.